Yeah, I feel like the line is so hotly contested lately. We're seeing him either being picked or banned for almost every game that we've had in the Southeast Asia qualifiers so far.
I like this Lion pick because when we look at the Fnatic drafts yesterday, they mostly suffer on their lanes in all 3 games against Omega. And this Lion pick just solidifies the lane. Like, it can't go that bad. And in the worst case scenario, he can do exactly what CTM did for Neon yesterday. He can stack the Ancients 5-6 times and have the Gyro come and clear it once the Gyro has enough damage with the Flag Cannon now. Because the Flag Cannon, they changed it to have a lot lower cooldown now. So it is quite efficient to max the Flag Cannon and use it to farm the stacks early. But you sort of need enough damage to do it. You need maybe a Yasha before you try to do it.
Does that mean that we're going to see a lot, I guess, a more solid laning phase coming out of Fnatic with the way that their draft is going so far, Ponlo?
Yeah, I think we are gonna see quite a different Fnatic today because of how they structured their lanes. The IO Gyro lane, like, it's usually people think that IO Gyro is like maybe some people think that it's good against Timbersaw, some people think that it's bad. For me, I think that the IO Gyro, if they play it well, the Timbersaw can't really pressure the Gyro at all, and the Gyro should have a pretty free game. But they can't really shut down the Timbersaw as well. Like, the Timbersaw can have about 70% of what the Gyro has by like 10 minutes. So yeah, it'll be quite an even laning phase from both sides, I think, quite stable.
Forward to it. And GoDz, this Clockwork pick that's coming out, going and being paired with the Timber.
Yeah, I think Clockwork's probably going to be playing the support in the safe lane. So we see this kind of, I guess, 5-position Clockwork that just kind of runs at the offlaner, because usually it's this melee offlaner that doesn't like a Clockwork with Battery Assault getting up in your face early on level 1. Gives them a way to also start fights, because I think Mirana, you have the Yarrow, but it's not really a reliable kind of stun or initiation. So getting that out of a Clockwork, not a bad tool to have. But Fnatic will go to the Invoker counter now. So you mentioned, Ponlo, the TA kind of one of the few against the Invoker, and Fnatic are going to pick it for Chuan.
Yeah, I mean, sorry. What I wanted to say was, this is a game 1 of upper bracket series, right? I feel like if you show that you can't pick a TA here, it's kind of a weakness for your future games against other teams, because people are just going to pick an Invoker knowing you don't want to pick TA. So I think it's good that the team is confident enough to just give him the TA and see how it goes. And if this goes well, then they are confident enough to use it again in the future.
Yeah, I mean, if they have a really outstanding performance on the TA, then it's even something that teams might start banning out against them. But do you know how confident Fnatic, or how much of a comfort pick that one is for them?
I think Chen used to be able to play it, like, back when he was a mid player, but recently I don't think I've seen him play TA much. I think he has focused more on, even in his interview yesterday after the game, right? After the series, he said that he was focused about how the team wanted to play. He wanted to fulfill the team needs, you know? I feel like he has changed. He has evolved as a mid player to a more space making kind of mid player, and not so much like a carry-ish mid player.
What do you think is needed to round out the end of Fnatic's draft, GoDz?
Looking like they're just looking for their offlane. So the Death Hero, they've often been picking his hero pretty late in the draft. They don't know the matchup that he's picking into, so probably see some kind of more tanky frontline offlaner to go pair with a Lion. Slaughter, Mars banned out. Wondering probably what we see.
No Tide as well.
Yeah, no Tide, no Legion. They've targeted a lot of bans at Death here, actually. So slightly more limited hero pool. And yeah, you have to worry, like, what kind of carries can come out that could completely ruin your offlaner's day. So I think this is a pretty tough pick for Fnatic.
If I understand Death at all, I think that what he wants to pick here is Brewmaster.
A brew, you reckon it's going to be?
Yeah, because for Death, the lane matters a lot. Like,
yep.
I feel like he's gonna want to pick something that, because he's blind picking the offlane to carry, right? And the carry is most likely gonna be a range hero because they have a clock +5. So the only offlanes that I see left are like the Brewmaster, the Axe, and that's about it. Oh, Bloodseeker. Oh yeah, that's another Death hero.
Oh, okay, I was going to say, that's not even something that I feel like was on our radar, but the Bloodseeker. How does this one work to tie up the whole draft?
I feel like Death's perspective here is more on the lane. Like, to him, there are just a few heroes like Brew, like Bloodseeker that you blind pick this offlane, and no matter what carry they pick, you can't play Dota. Like your game won't be shut down. And I mean, it's not too bad. At least you have a Rupture for the Timbersaw, and you keep the Timbersaw in place, and your Gyro can pump in the damage. It's not the worst pick, but ooh, we have a Scambalulu, Nature's Prophet. That's a treat.
I did not think I would see
It's-
any Nature's
Sorry,
Prophet.
it's a
It's
Natsumi
carry,
Prophet.
yeah. But I was like, wait, who's their carry then? If Skem's playing that, they don't have a carry.
I'm still having flashbacks of the Scam Prophet, man.
Yeah, yeah.
The Singapore Major, it was beautiful.
So looking at these two lineups, GoDz, which one do you think you're favoring towards?
I'm really liking OB.Neon here. I think the one thing Fnatic have going for them is that mid matchup with the TA into the Invoker. I think Nature's Prophet, really good lane, and just a very fast-paced tempo hero that I feel like I look at Fnatic and their ability to make plays and kind of team fight in the mid. They have no team fight. They have no stuns except for the Lion. So I feel like there's a lot of pressure on Jabs here to not die in these fights and get all of his spells off, which is really difficult to do against heroes like Clockwork.
And Ponlo, what about you? Are you sort of similar the way that GoDz is seeing it, or do you have your own thoughts?
I mean, I think the late game is pretty safe for Fnatic, but I think getting there is going to be really hard because this stacking Ancient thing is CTM's thing. Like, Scam understands this thing so much. I'm sure that Scam Janelle is going to invade and infiltrate the triangle, and with Japoi on the Invoker, either with the Sunstrike, or even if he goes Crosswax, it will be both effective, and they have the Natsumi Prophet ulti as well. Like, it's going to be really hard for Fnatic to secure their triangle, I think. And that's like the whole game plan for them.
Well, let's jump into this game and see if Fnatic can drag it out enough to get to late game.
Thank you, Nat. We are here in our Game 1 winner bracket semi-finals. So a win here would put you in the top 3. Not that top 3 gets you much. It's all about winning this qualifier. There's no second place, there's no third place, but staying in the upper bracket would be much more comfier for either of these two teams. And it is going to be Fnatic playing on the Radiant side, OB.Neon playing on the Dire side. Early game, Ponlo, what do you think are some of the kind of key things to look at here that both teams are trying to achieve with these lanes?
I think for Neon, the key thing is once CTM on the Mirana feels that his Timbersaw can lane okay, can lane fine against IO Gyro, the Mirana is going to start to move towards mid, but it's not exactly an easy lane to gank with an Invoker against a TA. The Invoker's already added the Wax, so he's going to play Crosswax Invoker, but still they have no way to remove the refraction charges, so it's a lot more about disabling the stacks that are going to come out from Jab's Lion on the triangle. And Janelle is probably going to join him in doing so as well, because the Prophet should have no issue in laning against the Bloodseeker solo top lane. So I imagine like it's gonna be like Lion and TA on the triangle versus the Clock and the Mirana, and maybe even the Evoker will come.
Yeah, and it feels very different because you highlighted CTM Scam for his play yesterday, stacking Ancients. I don't think we're going to see many stacks. The only hero that farms stacks really is the Timbersaw, and he doesn't farm Ancient stacks particularly well. So it feels like Fnatic, they looked at Fnatic's games and said, okay, Fnatic's really weak in the laning stage and early game. Let's just play an early game strat because, yeah, there is no real... I mean, there's some scaling from a, late game Invoker, even late game Nature's Prophet, but it's not like these heroes power farm and... farm stacks and just accelerate the way traditional carries do.
Yep, Neon is playing a different... They picked the same two heroes at the start, the Mirana Timbersaw, but they're playing a whole different sort of game. But the issue here that I have for Fnatic is Neon understand what Fnatic are trying to do, because that is what Neon were doing yesterday. And Neon were damn good at it. So I'm really worried for if Fnatic is gonna be able to slow down the game like they want to play for the late game, because if they don't manage to get farm on their cores, the triangle, I really don't see how they're gonna match up in terms of the tempo of the game.
And then when it comes to Fnatic, I mean, we talk about OB.Neon knowing what Fnatic's trying to do. I feel like it does go both ways though, because this is very much the drafts we saw OB.Neon playing at the Singapore Major, and Fnatic, well, Death was the guy playing on the team at the time, so I guess part of me is thinking, like, surely Death knows what to expect a little bit out of OB.Neon, right?
For sure, Death himself is quite a Prophet expert, and he also had quite a lot of understanding and discussions with Scam from the Singapore Major when CTM was playing this Prophet carry. But I think we have seen this Natsumi play Nature's Prophet carry before, and it was not quite the same level as CTM's Prophet carry, in my opinion. So, yeah, I'm not sure. I think we're gonna have to see whether it can look as amazing as it did.
Already, they're ignoring the creep waves and just going for the heroes here. Yanuel in some trouble as he gets kind of low without getting a battery assault off, so he's looking to wrap around, and they're just trying to fight. Level 1 with this Blightstone. There is just relentless aggression coming from both sides.
Yep, top lane should be pretty easy for Neon. I think it's gonna be like around 6-4 because they don't really have any way to deal with the Treants. They can't really kill it directly unless they use both spells. But that doesn't mean you're gonna win the lane if you just kill the Treants.
So far, Fnatic playing this lane better, it seems. So they've gotten a lot of harass up, already forced a salve from the Clockwork, and haven't had to use much regen themselves. So at least this start has gone well for them. Taking a look at some of these other lanes, early pressure coming out. Raven looking for a level 2 kill on the level 1 Timbersaw, taking advantage of the early level. They just run down Timbersaw.
Yep, DJ on the IO added a level 1 overcharge just to have the attack speed to just hit the Timbersaw. And like I said, a Gyro IO that knows what they're doing, they have a pretty free lane against the Timbersaw.
I feel like I've never seen this before. Is this normal for IOs in this lane to go level 1 overcharge instead of the tether?
I think it really depends on whether you feel like you will be threatened. If you feel like the opponent heroes are gonna harass you a lot and hit your carry a lot, you might have to go like a Ring of Regen and Headdress or something like that. And when you go more regen, you don't want to add your overcharge because your damage is low. But in this case, he bought the Bracer on the IO, level 1. That's why he went for the level 1 overcharge.
Well, you can pick at some of the other lanes. We talked about the TA Invoker matchup, and GoDz has 7 denies. What's going on here?
Skill gap? Okay, it's a warm-up game. It's the first game of the day.
Wait, yeah, warm-up game, wake-up game, whatever. And you mentioned Juan not known for his TA play. At least it's been maybe some time since he's really been playing this hero, because he did spend a lot of time in that offlane role.
Yep. I think for Chen, at least for my impression, is that right now he's really emphasizing and focusing on a lot of the team play and team aspects of the game. So I think it's sort of understandable if there are some areas where in his laning where he's not matching up completely. But I think as long as he does fine, it's good enough.
Yep. And yeah, that's the thing. He's going close to even. He's maybe slightly behind, like 60-40-ish right now. So it's not like he's getting crushed in this lane by any means.
Yeah, but
we'll see.
With that being said, like he should be doing a lot better in this matchup.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how things kind of progress for him. Taking a look at some of these other lanes. Timbersaw, you mentioned, going to get left alone early, and this could be something where the Mirana can kind of move around the map. Is eyeing off this middle lane for a gank. Not sure it's an easy kill, as you kind of mentioned earlier. TA, of course, with Refraction, and Mirana may be kind of limited in what she can do. So,
Oh.
real aggression up top, though. Oh, ball's coming out.
There's something I want to talk about, right? Which is look at the map and look at how many sentries Dire have on the map. This is something that I realized in this patch, where sentries are only 50 gold. The early sentries are super valuable in a macro sense, that you can just buy it and use it, and it brings a lot of like impact to your game. This Mirana, knowing that there's no ops around this area, allows him to play around this area and know that he's not being seen. And Janelle also bought a sentry to block the ancient camp. At 2 minutes, he already did it. This is what I mean by Neon understand this ancient side a lot.
Yeah, so far Jabs has been tied to the top lane, but you have to imagine that he'll be wanting to start sacking those ancients fairly soon. So definitely like what we're seeing. And I mean, correct me if I'm wrong here, but it feels like a Mirana, even if you're just arrowing neutral creeps to get some farm and XP, you're still afraid. Like TA mid has to play more cautiously, worried about that Mirana gank if you don't see Mirana.
Yep, exactly. You can't play, you can't trade as much as a mid laner, and that trading in mid is a big part of laning, of how to pressure our enemy. If you always play with like 100% HP and 80% mana, you're not gonna pressure your enemy at all.
And the Dire sentry mid was actually blocking the TA's small camp, so even denying like small bits of farm on Chuan's TA.
Yep,
all the little things.
Teams should really be studying how Neon use their sentries in the early game, because it's really, really clean.
Oh. So far, not any kind of crazy aggressive plays, just arrows being thrown at neutral creeps. Meanwhile, OB.Neon just happy with the status quo of these lanes. But at the same time, Fnatic, all three of their cores are getting good farm. Are you feeling like this is favoring either team right now? There's no stacks being made for the gyrocopter, but the lanes are being basically... Oh, mid lane, hold that thought. Arrow gank coming in. But the backup from DJ is there, so it looks like nobody's going to go down with the help from the IOTP. I mean, I guess, yeah, do you feel like these lanes right now favor either team?
Not really. I feel like the lanes are going... Other than... the mid lane train is kind of doing better now. But I feel all the lanes are going as how they should. Maybe Def is getting a little bit too much. But, I mean, it's Def Sama, honestly. His laning is one of the best. Def fanboy here, sorry. But... I feel like not having stacks is really a huge issue though for Fnatic. Like, Jabs has this ward on his cliff in the triangle, but he hasn't used it to... So the concept of this ward, right, is so that as a Lion, you can go over there and you can stack the camps without being afraid of the clock. Or you can see if the clock is coming to block it and you can stun him before he reaches the camp. So you still get the stack. That's what we see like LGD Innocence do. And that's what I saw CTM do yesterday when he was battling against the clock. But Jabs hasn't stacked the triangle a single time, and I feel like the TA already wants to clear some stuff soon, you know, like a big camp at least. Because he didn't even have a small camp to play with at the start.
Is that just because he feels like he has to keep protecting this Bloodseeker? Like, is the Clockwork Nature's Prophet just going to get a kill if he's left alone? Maybe we'll find out, because that's exactly what they kind of try and do right now. But no, Death he's at least fine for now with the level 4 phase boots.
Jabs went over to stack the big camp once. They're going on Death, but he looks fine.
Yeah.
Maybe
Already
this
has
was a
phase
plan.
boots, bring protection. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe this was the plan. We get Dev says Jabs maybe told Dev that he wants to go stack, but Dev said wait for me to get my phase boots first before we start to leave. If not, my lane will be really hard. So Fnatic has not debordered the ancient camp though, and that's worrying, I think.
Yeah. That's something they've not even really been going for too many stacks on just yet. And with obviously TA who can farm it early on, and then Gyro who's more than happy to go farm it a bit later. It's a lot of potential farm that they are missing out on.
Oh, the Invoker made his first move. Bottom.
Yeah. Was scouted out. There was an observer in the tree, so I believe they know, but he's going to look to turn around with the Ghost Walk and go back. But someone needs to defend mid. Shrine is just getting free damage on this tower, so yeah. TP going to come in now. It's going to be coming in from the support Clockwork who leaves Nature's Prophet alone.
Yeah, that's the advantage of having a Nature's Prophet carry. You get to move freely on your supports. And worst come to worst, we can see what Natsume is doing. He's just farming a small camp.
I mean, at this point, they should be fairly aware that this Invoker is still trying to make a play because he has not returned to the mid lane. Clockwork is kind of lurking around, leeching as much XP as possible.
Yeah, very disciplined play coming out from Fnatic safely.
As for OB.Neon, very disciplined, safe play. Oh, they found the kill. It's going to be the Yanuel Clockwork. Jabs rotating in, but OB.Neon abandoning the top lanes, leaving their support for mid for a little bit, have now brought the Invoker back, perhaps realizing that they're not going to be able to find any kind of a kill down bottom onto the Gyro or the IO.
The broom, guys. Oh, okay, Jabs found it. It's fine.
Like, I'll take this extra damage. No.
Okay, at least Jabs deboarded the ancient camp now, and he double stacked the big camp and the ancient camp, so they're gonna start having stacks to play with. I imagine they're gonna farm it on the TA first because the Gyro only has a level 1 flag, and he doesn't really have damage to clear it yet. Yeah.
Yep. We'll see what OB.Neon's next move is going to be. It seems like they're just going to leave Timber down bottom. Does seem like Fnatic are trying to at least bring enough heroes down here that if Timber goes for this T1 tower, they can punish him. They have the Lion down here as well, which is kind of the essential hero, I think, if they want to kill him, because that's going to be how you stop his Timber chain away.
Yeah, I kind of like the emphasis that Fnatic are putting on defending this tower, because giving a Timbersaw a bot lane tower at 9 minutes is going to destroy your map, because the Gyro is going to be forced to the top side of the map, but that's kind of where the TA wants to be as well. So you kind of have to hold your towers as long as possible, so you get to get enough farm on your heroes. Because they are essentially running like 2 +1s with the TA and the Gyro.
And meanwhile, the Clockwork was trying to make a move towards top on the Bloodseeker, but he has a really cool lane ward that actually kind of scouted it out. They put the sentry over where you'd expect the ward, but the ward is actually in his own lane.
Yep, Janelle warding is one of the best in C, in my opinion. And back when he was a pleb in Sterling Dragons, I used to schedule scrims with them just to fight against Janelle because our team, and Dev was on the team as well with me at the time. I forgot what was our team name, but we literally only scrimmed Janelle's team at the time because Janelle was just so damn good, and we learned so much from watching him in our replays.
We'll see where his next move is going to be. For now, he's just managed to leech a lot of XP. The position 5 Clockwork already level 5.5, but OB.Neon going to make their move down bottom. They rotate the Nature's Prophet, they take a tier 1 tower, and they've forced the Gyrocopter back into his jungle, which is where those stacks really become important because Raven doesn't really have a lane to farm, but the stacks are starting to pile up. They've got some added stacks at the big camp, and Fnatic making a move towards top. Smoke up on jabs on the Lion. Looking to try and take a counter tower. They need the TA here to, if they want to have the damage to take this tower, it feels like.
Yep, but I think touching a tower at this point of the game is going to be a bad idea for Fnatic because I don't think their heroes are ready yet. But this is at least some pressure. They just need to not get caught out and die on their heroes.
Is there anything they can do to deal with this Timbersaw at this point? He's level 9 with a hood. It feels like he's probably just not even worth ganking anymore.
I mean, they can kill him with, they need probably like 3 or 4 heroes maybe with the Rupture and the Gyrocopter and the Lion as well. And
top lane. Death gonna lose his mana. The hookshot follow-up is there with an arrow as well. They're gonna catch the Bloodseeker and bring him down with the help of the battery assault.
oh, the Timbersaw TP top as well. They want to start playing the top side of the map and contest the jungle. They do not want to let this TA clear these stacks freely. And this is really cool what Neon are doing. It's really smart.
And instead they go back to this top lane. They find Jabs behind the tower here. And he's going to get caught by a Cold Snap plus Urn. Very aggressive early game from OB.Neon. Knowing they don't have the farm advantage if they sit back and, you know, play in their jungle. That's something that heroes like Gyro and TA have on them, so they are all about going for these kills.
Yep, but Fnatic is also doing the wise thing of just splitting up their heroes and taking the farm on the elsewhere of the map because they're not ready to fight just yet. The worst thing for Fnatic to do right now is if they tried to fight Neon at the triangle, they would just lose and maybe even lose all the stacks.
Those were the first kills OB.Neon have gotten this entire game. It took 12 minutes for them to get on the scoreboard, so it's definitely Fnatic have done a very good job of avoiding these fights, and Raven has been kind of the big winner in this kind of passive game because he is top of the net worth and free farming away with the help of DJ.
Yep, both teams are being really smart about their moves. The Timbersaw actually came over here and cleared all the stacks, so I imagine Neon is really happy with this. Smoke coming out from Fnatic though.
Yep. They probably want to play around this mid lane. They need to back up the TA who gets caught in a Tornado EMP. There's the follow-up. Xuan is going to get helped out by DJ's Io. Can he heal him up enough? He's still alive. The Spirit Vessel charge ticking is not going to be enough, and Fnatic have turned this around and taken out the Clockwork. They want more. They're going to get Onru on the Timbersaw, and they want CTM Skem. Manages to TP out of there, but a great turnaround.
Yep, it was. I'm not too sure, but they thought that they could kill the TA, but they just needed that little bit more. I'm not sure if they lined up their spells perfectly, but a really crucial heal from DJ.
Yeah. Oh, DJ saves his buddy there, and they're going to get rewarded with an early tier 1 tower, so I think the team that wants to kind of maybe sit back and farm a bit more, they're actually the ones who take a tier 1 mid earlier because of that successful team fight.
Yep, now I imagine Fnatic are gonna go back to stacking mode and stack every camp they can because they are sort of strong right now. The Gyro already has a Maelstrom and a Blade of Alacrity. They can clear stacks, and if Neon come in, I think they can fight right now.
Yeah, we saw mid lane, especially if they're able to like bait a fairly tanky hero. Like TA at this point, 1500 health with Refraction, fairly tanky, but here come OB.Neon charging forward. They're going to find Death, and it looks like he is going to be the sacrifice. Has a 4-staff, so he's actually just going to be able to get out of there. Great early pickup against the Clockwork initiation. They're relying on this hookshot and arrow combo, and 4-staff is a great way to negate that.
Yep, it's not amazing for its own hero, but it makes a lot of sense for the game, right? Or how the game needs to play out. So Death is Zhao actually told me said something about Death, right, on an interview in
Lion Jabs gonna get picked off at the bottom rune.
Yeah, I was saying I remember Jarnell saying something on an interview at the Singapore Major, and he said about Dev that Dev is his laning is really good, one, and number two, his item decisions. He puts a lot of thought into what he buys, and he consistently has good item choices. And I think we are seeing that here in the 4-star.
Yeah. Because, yeah, it feels like, you know, there are those players who just kind of usually go for the typical standard meta build and go through the motions. But, yeah, seeing a rush on a 4-star, even against Clockwork, like, this used to be what a lot of people did, but it has not really been as of late, so...
Yeah, I mean, most
good
players,
thinking coming out from him.
they just opened up their shop, you know, they see what's on the right side of the screen, then they eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
Yeah.
And they just buy whatever seems familiar, right, most of the time. Even for myself.
Yeah. I mean, if you've played a hero a bunch of times, you know how a certain item is going to improve your game, even if there's maybe a better item that could improve it more. Gank down bottom. Lion is set up for a relocate gank, and they're going to take out that Clockwork. So, nice little pick off, nothing too crazy, and it's a 2k gold lead. OB.Neon, despite not having the farming lineup so much, you're actually doing pretty well in terms of the farm game, and it's pretty much entirely on this Mirana. Mirana has 5k net worth. CTM,
yeah.
he's channeling his inner core.
How did he get 5k net worth? I didn't even realize.
75 last hits. At 15 minutes, how do you get 75 last hits as a support? He's as much as the Invoker.
But I think we're seeing it though, like when CTM chooses to farm on his hero a lot, which is what he's doing this game.
Nice force-up initiation. That's another way you can use that one. Death sends his Lion in for a Hex Impale. The Finger of Death is not going to keep him alive with the mech. It's enough damage and great pickoff. Great initiation with the 4-star.
Yeah, it's very creative. I was saying, like, when CTM farms a lot on his hero, I feel like the team in general starts to become quite passive because, as far as I know, CTM controls a lot of how they play, and he short calls a lot, and he's very active usually. And I feel like in general, I kind of get the feeling that Neon is a little passive this game after they took the triangle stacks. I don't think they've done, after they failed that, they botched that initiation on the TA mid, right? They haven't really done anything with this Vessel on Invoker and this Nature's Prophet Witchblade, which are considered
They're looking to change that. They're smoked up. They're looking to perhaps use these item timings a little later than we expected as they head towards the top lane, looking to make a play. They're invised up with the Moonlight Shadow. Jabs has a sentry, but it's too late. Can't get off any spells because of the Cold Snap. They take out the line. They definitely want to go for more here. Onryu in some trouble here with the Rupture. He doesn't get away, but the Cogs could actually protect him here. He's tanking himself up, has the 1 charges, and now the chase is on. Natsumi's teleported in very aggressively, and he's going to go down because of it. The Deathblink Blast coming just a little bit too late to save his life. Onryu on the Timbersaw doing a hell of a lot of damage here with the Spirit Vessel on the Eye, stopping a lot of his healing. Next up could be Raven. Raven, he wants to turn and fight, and with Chuan with the double damage on TA, there's just too much damage. He wants 1 or 2 more right clicks. It's not enough. Didn't have the Meld Strike. He didn't have the mana for it, or he may have taken out that Timber.
Yep, the fight didn't start that well for Fnatic because their Lion died immediately, but luckily for them, Trian had a DD rune bottle, so that DD rune actually gave them a fighting chance in the fight. Natsumi as well with kind of a questionable TP at the back. I'm not sure what happened, but I don't think you ever want to have your +1 carry Nature Prophet that has a Witchblade Maelstrom just TP to the backline and die in like 5 seconds. I think that's always like bad news.
Yeah, he did 300 damage the entire team fight compared to, like, you know, Gyro TA doing 3k damage, 4.5k damage. So he just teleported in and died, and that's, like you say, your top net worth hero. So for the BKB, that probably works out fine, but he's got to wait for his team to be the ones, like the Timbersaw, really, to go in before he goes for a teleport like that.
Yeah, but I feel like sometimes, right, when you get openings, like you kill the opponent Lion, right, suddenly you feel really excited and like really pumped because to you it's like you're not supposed to lose the fight anymore, and then you start to make these over aggressive decisions, and maybe that's what happened there. I think Natsumi is gonna be more careful with the next fight though. I think he understands his blunder there.
Have Neon got the answers for this farm Gyrocopter? Because it feels like Raven's just getting everything he wants this game.
Yeah, I don't think that. I think at this point Fnatic are getting more and more comfortable with the game. Like the gyro is way too rich at this point of the game, and yeah, they have nothing to scale against the Gyrocopter. I think like the Prophet stands no chance against this Gyrocopter late game, especially because he has an IO.
They don't really have the ideal heroes to jump on top of an IO. So we'll see. It does feel like, yeah, OB.Neon need to be considering what their next aggressive moves can be. They've pretty much got all their early game item timings. They've got a full Greaves on the Mirana. The only thing they're maybe missing is this BKB on Natsumi, which he's about 1,000 gold away from.
Yep. Chapo is not really finding the kind of game that he really wants on the Invoker, buying a Vessel first item. He only has... He has 0 kills. Like, your Invoker has 0 kills at 20 minutes. I think you feel really bad right now. And yeah, Neon definitely need to find a way to open up the game by getting a favorable fight somehow.
He has had his name on every single kill with the assist, but yeah, only 6 kills in 20 minutes. That is, I think, not what you'd normally expect out of OB.Neon when they're going for this kind of a draft.
Yep, it's definitely not what you're hoping for when you're playing the Invoker. You want to get kills because you're not really farming creeps. He's running around a lot, and he's not getting kills, so his net worth has been suffering. He doesn't even have his Midas yet. It's almost 20 minutes.
Yeah. I guess I'm surprised because I thought this game would go I thought in this game, OB.Neon would be the ones going for kills while Fnatic farmed. It feels like it's been the opposite because Fnatic have more kills and OB.Neon have more farm. How did that happen?
I think Fnatic has just been really good about who they chose to be the one to get initiated on. We constantly see it was a Bloodseeker with 4 stars they got initiated on. It was a TA mid lane with Refraction and an IO nearby. Like, Fnatic are really smart about not getting caught on their heroes by the initiation. And I think that's why Neon are finding it hard to find the openings, because Fnatic understand what are Neon's initiation sources and what are their damage sources. And they put the right hero to deal with it. They don't just get caught on their gyrocopter or their TA without refraction.
And do you feel this gold lead, we see a 3k gold lead for OB.Neon, is kind of misleading when you see how far in TA and Gyro are?
Yeah, it's definitely... This gold lead is like entirely on the Mirana, and your Mirana is not going to be able to do that much in this game, I think.
On the Mirana, but also, I guess one concern is, you mentioned the Bloodseeker. Death is very under-farmed. Like, he is looking more like a 4 position in terms of farm rather than a core.
Yeah, but in this, like we discussed in the draft, this Bloodseeker last pick is more like, it was just, oh, bottom.
Oh, relocate bottom. They want that Sumi. Can he teleport out in time? They need a disable. They got it, the Impale.
Oh, Natsumi. No.
Instant smoke. I believe Dire may have seen them smoke CTM. Yeah, he pops it, leaps away, but he's already been ruptured. He could be in some trouble himself. He's actually leaped into some trees. Got himself stuck. He gets hexed up. Lotus Orb is there to back him up. Okay, he almost survived his way through that one. Not sure what the plan there was for OB.Neon. I think they saw the smoke and knew they were being ran at, but still lingered around and got picked off.
I really think like something like that cannot happen on your carry prophet. This hero depends so much on the snowball of the game. You can't have careless deaths like this because it really like falters, your timing really falters because you don't farm that quick and your item timings are like pretty tight on this hero.
OB.Neon want to contest Roshan. Oh, okay. Dire killed Roshan. Radiant got the Aegis. It's snatched by Xuan, but he was kind of the one going for it. He's going to pick up a Clockwork kill to go with it. Nice attempt from OB.Neon to steal the Roshan. They do get the gold for it, but not what they were hoping for. This Nature's Prophet BKB just taking a bit long to come online, and I don't know, I have to go back a bit to what you said. It doesn't really feel like this is a comfort hero for Natsumi the same way it was for CTM at the Singapore Major.
Yeah, personally it looks kind of like a night and day to me because CTM's Prophet at the Major was something truly magical in my opinion. Like, the entire world was looking at it and all the other teams, like even Secret tried to run it on Matu, right? And it didn't even look the same. Like Matu Man, you know, killed one of the best carry players, couldn't even make this Prophet look as good as CTM made it. So I think CTM just made this hero look insane. But Natsumi, not so much, even though they are on the same team.
OB.Neon not going to go down without some fight. They're still slightly ahead in gold, as we've mentioned, a bit misleading, but they're continuously looking to fight. They smoke up, even into the Aegis on TA. They know there's no BKB, so they think their timing is now, and it is. They've got the BKB on the Nature's Prophet. That's the item they've been waiting for so long. They had the Aegis initiation on the Bloodseeker. They're going to cog as well, but actually Bloodseeker still forces us a little bit further away. He gets the Rupture offer as well, and with the IO heals on the Death, Death actually survives his way through it, killing off the Timbersaw. Forcing OB.Neon to run away. Nature's Prophet already committing the BKB, has to just TP on home. Terrible fight for OB.Neon. I think it looked like Daniel was trying to get the cogs pushback, but accidentally trapped Bloodseeker inside rather than pushing him back.
Yep, the Tornado on the Invoker actually already clipped the relocate on the IO and cancelled the relocate, but they just barely had enough damage didn't have enough damage to kill the Bloodseeker. Again, I think we see Channel is standing still. Okay. I think again we're seeing Fnatic, right? Like Fnatic are not trying to start the fights. They just position well on the map, and they know who is in danger, and they just sort of position behind the person. Like Death just positions himself to block the smoke, and he gets initiated on, but the DJ IO is already there, and they have the 4 staff to kite the spells. Like it's just like textbook good play from Fnatic right now.
Now Raven is 14k net worth, full BKB completed, everything you could hope for on a gyrocopter. TA says, screw it, I don't need BKB, they're kind of ignoring me, and I can just position further back, picks up a Crystallis instead, so more damage coming out for the TA. 6-0-3, we had some questions about how good his TA was going to be, and it's been fantastic.
Yeah, especially because he has an Aegis right now, so he feels that he can get a lot done with this Aegis. That's why he just buys Crystallis to hit a item timing during the Aegis. Oh, he bottled up a Haste Rune. It's going to be quite important for the next fight.
Is there any kind of a plan B? Like, the Invoker Midas is kind of looking like, you know, that's basically saying this is kind of a plan B, but is this plan B, how much of a shot does it give kind of OB.Neon, like going late game here?
I think it's very rough on Neon because the Invoker late game is not like what it used to be. Right now, the strong part about the Invoker is the Kata, but it's just countered by like 4 stars. Like all you need is like 2 4 stars on your team, and good enough like players to press the 4 stars before the Kata hits. And your late game Invoker is already like hugely nullified ever since they removed the stun on the Deafening Blast 4 years ago or something.
Well, they look to defend their top tier 2 tower. They TP in the Timbersaw. What's Onryu's plan here? Hook shot in, they're going on the gyro. The Cogs pushback is there with an arrow, and they're going to blow up the gyro. Great play there. DJ couldn't get in to save him. He was on the back lines, but looks like, I think it's Atos maybe canceled his relocate. Jabs in the trees. Can he TP out? No siree. He's down as well. Great defense from OB.Neon. They win the fight. The relocate did end up going off, and DJ is going to come back in without any friends. 3 dead. Great play. Bringing down the gyrocopter, not letting the IO keep him alive.
Yep, a small slip up by Fnatic to touch that tower without a clear plan in mind. Like they had the 4 stars to break the chain stun, but they just didn't use it. I'm not sure. But CTM's arrow, like that Cog pushed back into the arrow, like that was picture perfect by Neon.
I feel like after that last engagement, probably his teammates and maybe even himself were like, yeah, when you hookshot in, you cannot go, you have to do the Cogs pushback because often, right, you know, clockworks go between, you know, do you just want to trap him or do you want to push him back?
Yeah, especially on the gyrocopter because the gyrocopter is a BKB.
Yeah. Well, 6k gold difference now, a number we've seen kind of consistently grow a little bit, largely because of this Mirana continuing to farm. CTM has a Greaves as well as a Glimmer Cape. I mean, how much of a difference does having a farm Mirana make compared to, you know, the enemy offlaner who's less farm than a support?
I mean, the farm has to mean something, right? And if we click on Mirana, he's going for a Solar Crest and has a Glimmer and a Guardian Greaves. And it's really about what these items do for his teammates and how strong these teammates actually are with these heroes. The issue I have with this game is that he's gonna buff up his Nature's Prophet, right? But I'm really not sure that this Prophet is gonna be able to man-fight the IO Gyro combination, plus the TA's Mel Strikes. And they also have a Rupture on top of it if they want to. Like, you know, if they had more of a be-all end-all carry, maybe these buffing items would do a lot, but yeah, I'm not so sure.
Well, Nature's Prophet is starting to scale as we'll see both teams look to run into each other. Moonlight Shadow on the Dire. Radiant did smoke into this enemy jungle, but Dire in the neighborhood. They do see them, yet the Observer Sentry combo. Mirana instantly leaps away. They'll look to turn and line up an arrow. Not going to throw it immediately. Waiting for initiation. Here comes the hook shot from Yanuel on the Clockwork. Gets the hook. Does get the Cogs pushback, but not the ideal way to start the fight. Io kind of panic relocates the TA back to safety. Clockwork perhaps overcommitted here. Back in the trees. Death on the Bloodseeker going to get brought down. They chase him all the way in. Buyback from Clock. Timbersaw and Nature's Prophet going to look to turn and fight. Natsumi pops the BKB, trying to hold his own and fight Raven, but there's no way he wins this one. He goes for the TP, but he doesn't make it out. The BKB TP not going to work against the physical damage.
He almost barely got out. That was so close by Natsumi. He had to TP out like half a second earlier.
Yep. And something you kind of mentioned, yeah, was if that Gyro gets the BKB off, you cannot, like, Nature's Prophet can't really hold his own and just fight this Gyro.
Yeah, this Prophet has an AC, you know, he has an AC BKB, but he still dies as long as the Gyro and the TA are focused on him. Like, it was already kind of a botched initiation by Fnatic. Like Jabs missed his stun on the Mirana, and the Mirana managed to leap away. But Neon, maybe that was a bit too keen by Janelle. He hooked into a TA, but his team wasn't really ready to follow up.
Yep.
And the DJ reload save as well to save the TA from hook shot.
Oh. Good defensive play from Fnatic, and this has really been the, I feel like, story with Fnatic. They're almost in every game we've seen them so far, the team happy to sit back and wait for their opponents to make moves, and then they just always have a good response, it feels like.
Yep, I feel like Fnatic plays a lot of Dota based on like understanding how the fight needs to happen in the next fight. They don't just simply like turn off their brains and play, you know, and expect things to go well. That's why consistently we see them playing the fights in a good manner.
We'll see some of these tier 3 neutral items come out. Something that OB.Neon hadn't quite picked up just yet. I guess Spider Legs, a Quickening Charm, and now an Elven Tunic. Good news is Radiant did not get any kind of Paladin Sword. I think that would be probably the worst neutral item for OB.Neon to see their opponents get. Obviously,
yep.
Fnatic would have loved to get one. Instead, it's the Elven Tunic, which is decent, but probably just not as good, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there's a Spider Legs on Neon. Who's gonna get?
I don't really have the best heroes for it, which usually you love getting a Spider Legs, but for once it's like, actually, wait, is Spider Legs even that good for them?
So right now, Janelle is firing it out to him on the clock.
Okay.
That's pretty
Yeah. Wait, that's the thing. It's not good on any of their cores, so the 5 position is getting it. That says a lot. I mean, it's way better than this broom handle. He's happy.
Raven already has a Skadi on his gyro. This guy is really huge.
Yeah. Feels like they cannot prioritize him. They're going to have to go for the IO we've kind of touched upon, but go for the supporting cast and then deal with the gyro last. Roshan and Tempest going down. Radiant scans, so they have an idea of what's coming in their way. Death locks and tanks the arrow for the team as they're going to secure Roshan. The hookshot follow-up. Actually, it's Jabs blocking the hookshot in. I think Yanuel was going for an Aegis steal there, but ends up just giving away his life, unfortunately.
And it's still,
for Neon. Yeah, it's like they've still got a gold lead just purely because of Mirana. It just feels so funny to see because you know gold leads can be misleading, but usually like it feels like Fnatic are so far ahead now with Aegis in their hands, second Roshan in their hands, yet still they're behind on gold.
Yep, like based on the lineups, we understand that Neon has to kill the supports, right? But like if you look at Neon's lineup, who can follow up with the single target damage onto a IO? Like after they hook this IO, as long as the Lion falls
relocate bottom. They're going in. They found Natsumi. Jabs with a one-man ganking mission. I don't think they're gonna have the physical damage here. Yeah, they can get vision.
I think
the Hex and Impale both in time, but not enough. And they're gonna go in on mid. The relocate should be coming back in a second here, and Yopaj on the Invoke Rest to just BKB run away, so would be Neon not finding any openings after the relocate happened.
Yeah, I think the relocate was maybe a bit slow because I'm pretty sure if they had a full chain stun from Lion, then they should be able to kill the...
Yeah. Raven's gonna be a little bit careful. They chain stun him well here. The nice double force up to get him away. They want to try and protect this Aegis so it doesn't get wasted here. Ooh, hookshot actually gets blocked by his own teammate. CTM in some trouble here. Has to leap back to the high ground. As Onryu is gonna just be the tanky frontliner.
Yeah, important to note as well that the IO currently has a cheese on DJ. So yeah, the next fight is gonna be rough for Neon. They don't really have a single target damage aside from the Invoker and the Prophet. Like even if the clock finds the initiation on the IO, I'm not sure that they can even kill the IO. They don't really have that
very
hard stun.
tanky.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he may just cheese to save his own life if they commit too much on him. So yeah, with the mech Holy Locket cheese, his healing is getting out of control at this point.
EJ's IO, although he doesn't play that much anymore, but it still looks as formidable as it used to be when he was playing in all the TIs. EJ IO was quite a huge thing.
Yep. Top lane, it'll be Neon seeing what they can find, but probably just gonna be backing off in a second. They're actually TPing down bottom here. DJ just was trying to go for a TP out, but gets found by the hookshot. So there we go. They do show they can kill this IO.
Yep, of course. In such a scrappy situation. The issue is when it comes to a team fight. Like when the formation on Fnatic is like proper, it's gonna be really hard for them to break the formation.
Yeah, that felt like just okay. Really, OB.Neon utilizing the fact they have really good vision top, saw multiple heroes TP, and they're like, okay, this IO's alone. Let's get him.
Yep, OB.Neon actually planted a Tinker Ward top as well on the left side of the map.
Yep.
Maybe they're anticipating. Maybe they can catch out IO as well there, because the IO usually hides in the trees to stand behind the cores, reload them out.
Is there a point where you feel like this game does, super late game ever start to swing back OB.Neon's way at all? Like if they continue to farm well across four heroes essentially getting farmed?
Not really, especially because this Prophet, I'm now looking at him and he added the cooldown reduction talent instead of the 8 armor, so he's not gonna scale as much as this TA and this Gyrocopter. And like sure, if maybe Yopach manages to get a Hex and Refresher and BKB and he manages to do some wombo combo that we put on YouTube, maybe they can get a good fight late game, but unless that happens, like late game is still rough on Neon.
You mentioned the Cataclysm being the late game power invoker. Usually it's picked with some kind of setup, like obviously Faceless Void, the obvious one, but even things like a Dragon Knight with a long duration stun. The Clockwork is just not reliable because of the 4-star, so it feels like there's no good setup for his Cataclysm.
Yep, maybe the Clockwork will be able to finally get an Aga late game, so if the 4-stars are not close by, he can chain stun the double hook shot, but that's if the 4-stars are not close by.
Lane. Opage needs to be a little bit careful in enemy parts of the map. It does look like nothing much is going to come of it. Gyro getting closer and closer to being 6-slotted though. Will expire. Fnatic not using these Aegises to like really force any big fight though. Is that the right call here? Do you think there was anything they could have done with the Aegis?
I think they still, like, even though they have if they have a Lion Hex, but if they initiate into Neon and they force their Lion and the IO to play at the front line of the fight, right? If they are the ones initiating, the fight is still not like completely safe for them. To me, like I think they much rather have a fight where like the whole early game, right, where Neon are the one initiating into them. I feel then it's so easy for Fnatic to fight. And I mean, to me, they are in no hurry. I think this Gyro still has so much room, bro. He can finish. He can buy the Aga Blessing. He can buy like a Rapier.
I will say from my experience, like as a support player, like when I played Lion and you're like the only stunner initiation, it doesn't feel good because you don't want to be blinking in aggressively because you're just going to die most of the time. So it does feel like Fnatic are limited when it comes to starting fights, because if Lion dies at the start of a fight, they have no lockdown for the rest of the fight.
Yep, and I think this is a point where inexperienced players will make the argument that, I have the initiation, we have the damage, why not we start a fight, right? But experienced players have played this game enough to know how like all their heroes scale, and they sort of measure the risks, right? They do a risk evaluation in their minds about how the next fight needs to look, and unless they see a fight that meets their threshold of what risk they want to take, they just don't, and they just chill and just scale, and they just wait for the next Rosh, take the next Aegis, and just play a good clean game.
That's what Fnatic are doing, but at the same time, OB.Neon with a lot of good answers to it. They're split pushing both mid and top lane really well. The Nature's Prophet Treants take the tier 2 tower top with the Aghanim Shard. The mid lane they're cutting the mid wave with the Invoker Forward Spirits. He used a Meteor as well, so feels like OB.Neon, while they're in a tough spot and they are at a disadvantage here, they're making a lot of good moves.
Yeah, they're keeping up in terms of the farm. But this
look at bottom. They're getting high ground.
Yep, he has a shot on the Prophet. Big tree.
Yeah. And the creeps are in the top wave, so they're just going to get a tier 3 tower here. Or get it down to 9 health.
Yeah, I'm sure the calls on Fnatic, at least one of them is considering to buy a travel so that they can consistently go and push lanes, and they can play with the relocate, and the Iron can start to smoke up and get pickoffs. Like they need to start playing the map better. Like because Neon are trying to dodge them right now. Fnatic are stronger in fights. So yeah, maybe Fnatic needs to stop sticking together so much because they are kind of getting like outfarmed on the map.
OB.Neon have to at least feel okay with some of how this game has developed. All 4 core heroes essentially at this point continue to scale. Like Mirana's got an Aeon disc coming to go with all the farm that she's got. Invoker late game with the Aghanim's Refresher. So even if there's not the best setup for a Cataclysm, double Cataclysm in a chaotic team fight could still just blow somebody up if you're not ready for it.
Yep. To add to my point earlier, like I wanted to say that if they want to split up on the map, I'm talking about Fnatic, to push out the map more effectively, they probably need to get a gem and deward all the wards before they split up, because if not, their core heroes are just gonna get picked off on the side lanes, and that's exactly what they did. They bought a gem on Jabs, and they dewarded the ops in their triangle. So now Neon have way less information about trying to catch the cores, and Fnatic can start to push out the lanes effectively.
We'll see how OB.Neon handle this one. Feels like they've got plenty of vision tools themselves with the Clockwork rocket flares, and have found they've just done a good job at avoiding any kind of potential Fnatic aggression. Fnatic though are smoked up and seeing what they can find here. Both teams going to be probably playing around this Roshan. The Rosh number 3 with a Refresher Shard. Be big, especially if OB.Neon get their hands on it for the Invoker with the Aghanim Scepter.
Yep, the issue here, so now here begins the macro play. Is Fnatic gonna just force this, or is Fnatic gonna try to catch this Prophet that's gonna be splitting? This Prophet, all he's gonna do is keep pushing in bot lane to force the pressure onto the bot Rex while they dance around the Rosh pit. Looks like Fnatic's just gonna force it.
Yep, they're in the pit, and this bottom lane kind of pushing, but there's TA traps, so TA traps can actually take out these creep waves. I like this move from Fnatic, recognizing a way to handle the split push.
Yep,
Still
that's
trying
really
to force
smart.
this Roshan.
They are leaving now. They are feeling kind of nervous about this.
Yeah. Lotus Orb on the homing missile will send it back Raven's way. And we'll see if Fnatic leaves this Rosh area. They've got to be careful because they did get Rosh down to about half health, but there's still a couple TA traps down bottom to deal with any kind of split push. So imagine Fnatic's going to just stick around this pit. And you mentioned boots of travel, Chuan has them. So TA goes bottom to push it out and has the boots of travel to rejoin his teammates.
Yep, the Nature's Prophet actually has level 25 as well, so this bottom is just gonna be... Yep, he added the TP CD. He doesn't have a CD on his TP anymore.
Yep.
You
like that more than the buff treants?
Wait, what?
You like it more than the buff treants? Oh, hold that thought. Never mind. We've got a big Rosh fight going on. Timbersaw chaining on through to get some vision of what's going on. Clockwork hooks in, but Roshan is still alive, so perhaps a bit early. But Natsumi goes charging in with the BKB TP. He snatches the Aegis from the Gyrocopter. Here's the Cataclysm raining havoc on everybody. There's only one, though. Nature's Prophet going to die once. Is there a respawn? Doesn't have to say Panic has a BKB when he comes to life, but he doesn't get a chance. He gets instantly impaled. Natsumi is dead. No chance to BKB. And OB.Neon haven't found a single kill in this fight. Despite stealing the Roshan, they're in all sorts of trouble. Yopaj on the Invoker gets silenced up. The Nature's Prophet buying back. The Melt Strike on an Invoker. Yopaj goes down. And now Onryu on the Timbersaw, he's in trouble. He's going to Lotus away with a Flicker. That's going to help people alive. That's another Timber Chain. Oh, the back door. Nature's Prophet is going to have to BKB TP home. Luckily, BKB because Jabs was in the trees waiting for him. So a sneaky little play will help, kind of salvage things. But great fight for Fnatic.
What a quick reaction by Fnatic to TP bot there. Natsumi, like... I mean, I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure you can BKB on Rosh respawn, like Aegis respawn. Like, I don't think you would get hit by the Lion Impale. That's a really big deal for them. Now suddenly Fnatic has a really easy win condition. All they need to do is 2-man smoke with the Lion and Bloodseeker and look for this Prophet on the side lane. This Prophet can't split push anymore.
Oh, that's trouble. Not sure what happened to the Refresher Shard as well. It disappeared somewhere in the craziness. May have been used by someone.
I'm not sure. I saw that the Gyrocopter was the one that took the cheese and the Nature's Prophet was the one that took the Aegis.
These things go back to the status quo here as mid lane to jump onto Death's Bloodseeker will find a kill. Good move from OB.Neon, who for the first time this game really are behind in terms of overall gold, but these things come down to a whole lot more than that now that we're at the kind of 40+ minute mark. You asked for, you know, full 3 long games, at least for game 1. We've got a neck and neck even battle here. It feels like just a great clash happening here, Ponlo.
Yep, and it's like both teams are like playing such high quality Dota, and there's like so much to learn in how they are playing the map, how they are playing the fights. Like, yeah, it's so enjoyable to watch.
We'll see. Now with, I mean, the crazy thing is, you know, there was this big fight over Roshan, but now there's no Aegis in play. Yeah, there's a Cheese, but Cheese doesn't really change the game plan at all. So probably both teams will go back to what we saw before the Roshan, especially on the OB.Neon side, because they committed buyback. So they are the ones who have to play, I think, ultra safe now with buyback on Nature's Prophet down, as well as some of their other heroes. Yeah.
Yeah, I imagine that Fnatic, once this Blastiker is respawned, they're gonna TP and they're gonna smoke. And they're gonna make a play onto this Prophet, which is exactly what they're doing. Going towards the triangle, but unfortunately Natsumi is not there. He's at a pretty safe place called his base.
I hear that Fountain is pretty strong.
Oh wait,
Zero cooldown TP. He's TPing right away.
Okay.
They're pinging him, they know he's there. Okay, he's... You know, if they had predicted him TPing there and were already waiting, that would have been such a heads-up play from Fnatic. But, I mean, already it was a heads-up play from Fnatic. They were just bested by Natsumi, who knew it was not a safe place to be. Well,
we've been kind of quiet about this Timbersaw, but this Timbersaw actually already has a Hex.
Yeah, Natsumi top. Nothing to cancel his BKB TP, so they do find him, and TA perhaps are going to start putting some of these traps in the trees here. Another thing that TA could consider, yeah, I mean, has queued up the Ag Scepter. Obviously, against a Nature's Prophet, Ag feels really nice on TA.
Yeah, the Aga on the TA is like one of the strongest Agas in the game, I think. It just allows you to be so mobile on the map, and also in the fights. Like, you can just place a trap like in the fights to the backline, and you can just teleport there. Like, it's really insane.
Top lane, there is a trap in these trees that has not been dewarded, so some intel going Fnatic's ways, as they were standing on top of it. But Fnatic don't really want much to do with it. They're leaving the TA top while the other 4 heroes play around mid, trusting Chuan to not get picked off and to be able to boot to travel in. Nature's Prophet
oh,
him again.
Oh, you are a madman.
He's going for the range. There's no backdoor protection. I'm not sure exactly how or why.
I think Fnatic are just gonna force it. Like, they understand that this Prophet has no buyback for 4 minutes. Like, they should just
force high ground.
Fight. Yeah, they should.
Raven just picked up a butterfly, so he's doesn't have buyback for 200 gold. I was about to say he had so much gold. I thought he'd be fine, but he needs a couple of creeps. So he's got buyback now. So if they want to force it, they can do so. Relocate down bottom. They found the pick. Natsumi. They were waiting for him. Oh, he'd made that play a few too many times, and the TA trap sitting there waiting, giving vision.
Yeah, the TA trap, Twin. So smart. Oh my god, that's just... Isn't that just game? They just walk up high ground now. He has a butterfly, they have 2 cheeses.
Yeah, but DJ can get given a second one if he ends up needing it. But yeah, Raven can just go up 90+ seconds without a Nature's Prophet. This could spell disaster here. They'll do what they can. With an Invoker, you can soul your high ground pretty well. Rupture coming out on Ryu, that's going to limit what the Timbersaw can do. He's going to have to wait for that to wear off, but Bloodseeker with an Acceptor has a second one. He also has a Spell Prism, so Ruptures galore here.
But there is a pretty long cooldown on the spells on Invoker, but at least he has a Spell Prism. The cooldown on the Meteor is another like 35 seconds, so...
Yeah.
I think I'm going to be able to take this right.
I think, yeah, they're going to have to just give this one up and try and cut their losses here, but unfortunately for them, Yopaj gets jumped. Chuan on the TA just goes flying on in. They take out another. And they're just destroying OB.Neon's base, taking out the bottom lane. Not a whole lot they can do. They are going to look to try and buy some time here as Raven forces Satanic to heal himself back up. He gets hexed up, but he is more than okay with an Iron Scene behind him. I imagine they're just trying to bait him out a little bit here as the Force Staff will get him back to safety. He is stunned up, and now with the Deafening Blast Meteor, a lot of damage coming out, but the heals are there.
30 seconds, Fnatic. Are you going to go? Looks like they are.
Second lane. They want to force this. Now we're going to go flying through, get sidestepped by all the Fnatic heroes here, and BTM He's been ruptured. He can't move. His Aeon has already been proc here, so they're in
Another
trouble as
jump.
they're going to jump in the Invoker. No buyback. It's looking like it's all over. Raven just charging forward, flacking through everything. The buildings, the heroes, they lose them around an instant buyback. They've only managed to take out a line on their side. And Chuan back at the base, trying to zone the Timbersaw back to his base, and they're going to focus on the objectives, go for the tier 4 towers, go for the throne. Still no Nature's Prophet. Finally he's back, but this could be too little, too late, as without the Clockwork, without the Invoker, I just don't think they have what it takes to stop this Fnatic push. BKB on the Gyrocopter if he needs another Rupture coming in. Death is just a Rupture bot at this point. Natsumi TP's in with a BKB. He's trying to hold his own. He's trying to fight. He wants Schwab, but there's the cheese. He manages to heal him back up, and it's GG. Fnatic take out OB.Neon. A fantastic game 1. And they just managed to slightly outmaneuver OB.Neon in the end.
Jabs finding the initiation onto the Invoker twice and not letting Yopaj use the BKB both lives. His BKB was not used for the last 2 fights.
Ooh. And, you know, the buyback totally makes sense. There's a big fight around the Roshan, but getting picked off in that bottom lane when he didn't have buyback, obviously you can't really, you know, he'd done that play. That's the problem. He'd done that play too many times where Fnatic game plan for it. They're like, okay, he's going to make this TP here. Let's put a trap and let's be ready for it, because that just sealed the game. Yeah,
I think like Fnatic used every tool that they had in their draft and in their lineup, right? And we gotta give credit to them for that. Every player playing to what they're supposed to do. Like it's like a well-oiled machine.
Yep. Well, great game 1. We're going to bring back in Nat to hear what she has to say as we break down our first game and get ourselves ready for Fnatic Neon game 2.